All right, well, we know that this is going to be a very important week for the markets. Let me just read you this headline. U.S. stocks mixed ahead of key tech reports. What do we have going on? Well, we've got markets at an all-time high, and we've got big tech reporting. A lot of people believe that the big tech has been priced to perfection. We've seen all of these companies gapping up, except for Tesla, which gapped down, and now the Fed's going to talk. Well, we're going to get more data in addition to him talking. We've got other reports coming out this week that are going to be huge, but one of the reports that we already got out was the JOLTS report. It showed a tick up in jobs, and what that means is that there is a tick down in the likelihood that the Fed would give us any kind of a rate cut in March. Remember, we've got a problem. The problem is the market's priced in 6 rate cuts, and the Fed has only even considered 3 when he's talked about the markets. And so that's going to have to be reconciled. But today, I'm going to dive into another crypto stock that's a huge player in this space. It's beloved by a lot of people in the trading community because it's had some huge price swings. We're going to be diving into Coinbase, and I have spent some time running the technicals, and I think there's a pretty clear story or an interesting story. I'm going to do my best to deliver it to you guys today. This is the Stocks with Josh show. As always, I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the hearts in the comment section. I appreciate the likes that I get. Guys, say hi in the comments and hit subscribe if you're new to this page and you need help trading these uncertain markets in these uncertain times. All right, let's just kick off with the story of Coin, right? This is going to be the second stock in our crypto series that I've covered, and here's what's going on with it. This thing had a 500% increase from December to December of this last year, an absolute incredible run-up in 1 year. Now, a lot of people are still thinking that this is going higher right now, but I think the charts are indicating that even if we get some additional bounces up along the way, we're likely in an overall downtrend for the next couple months, and I'm going to make a case for why I think that in the charts, as well as give some price predictions of how high this might possibly go by the end of 2024 or the first quarter of 2025. I think that Coin is going to remain a stock of interest because there's opportunity in those charts. This thing started off in April of 2021 when it opened at $381, and very quickly that same day it hit $429. Now, I wasn't on YouTube back then, but I was hanging out with Stock Up with Larry Jones, and I went on his show around that time. And one of the things that he said to everybody is, I'm not going to be chasing this run up on Coin. I'm going to invest in some coins on the Coinbase platform, which proved to be a much better decision because the fact is, ever since it hit $429, it's actually been steadily declining. Little did anybody know that this thing was on a path down to $31. But then in early 2023, I called it a buy, and I gave these reasons. I said, one, this thing is literally at the price of 1.5 times its book value. I couldn't imagine that there would be any reason it would go any lower. The second reason at the time, if you guys are learning these charts, and I invite you to watch this show because one of my goals is to make the complication of chart reading more simple. The other reason I gave for it to be a buy, besides the fact that it was at 1.5 times book value, was that it had had price consolidation in a sideways pattern. It had showed that for months and months and months, which is a bottoming pattern, and that gave us the indication that we might have hit the bottom and now could go back to test the top of the range, which I think we just recently did. But we are still in an overall uptrend because we're moving closer to a catalyst that we all know in the crypto space is called the halving event for Bitcoin, which typically precedes a massive run up in price. And this is where Coinbase is going to make all of their money when the coins begin to change hands. They get in their hands on those transaction fees, making more revenue and increasing their cash flow. Now, there is actually another reason it turned around back then, besides the fact that the charts were pointing to the fact that it might. They actually released a full balance of the assets they were holding. At that time, we were dealing with the implosion of FTX, and really all sorts of other major exchanges were falling apart. People were concerned that Coin might have mishandled their resources, but they came out and showed everybody their balance sheet and said, no, we are doing things the way we're supposed to. And this is going to be part of the bull case I'm going to make for investing in Coin, because these guys have been the one crypto company out there that's at least trying to get along with Gary Gensler from the SEC. Now, whether or not that's possible, I don't know. That's definitely one of the bullish points behind this company, but we're going to examine both sides. We're going to look at the bull case and the bear case so we don't get caught up in trading stories. We want to look at the fundamentals and then follow the charts. Now, Coin stock has recently made a new 52-week high, pushing up to $187, and we're going to have to figure out whether or not this thing is still in an uptrend or whether it's time to wait to buy on a pullback. I have strong opinions on this because I think the charts are making some strong points. We're going to get into it here in a moment, but let's just look at the bull versus bear case for Coin stock. The bulls are going to argue, guys, that crypto is absolutely the future, and they're going to say that Coinbase is the last man standing and the #1 crypto exchange in the United States. They believe that Coinbase has a good relationship with the regulators and has proven their willingness to come to the table. And they're now in a very good spot because we are getting ready to move towards the most profitable season in crypto trading, which is the bull market. With that, the bull analysts have a consensus buy rating for Coin with a high estimate of it hitting $200 and a low estimate of it hitting $60. Now, I'm going to give you guys the price range I think this stock is in, and we'll see if their analysts are seeing things the same way I'm seeing them. The bulls say at the end of the day, Coinbase has a very strong reputation of security in an environment filled with fraudsters and high risk, and as a result, they're going to be the ones who win in the end. All right, sounds pretty good. But what do the bears say? Well, the bears say that Coin is a stock that started at $400 and has been going down for 3 years straight. They point out the fact that they're rogue actors opposed by the SEC, who's called them in recent days an unregistered securities exchange, and that they're still not operating in any real clarity. The SEC guys can sink them with broad regulation at any given moment. Crypto might have gotten an ETF, but it's still the wild, wild west. And here's what's even worse that the bears say about Coinbase and crypto in general. It's a cyclical asset with really 3 years down and only 1 year up, which means the majority of the time people are not making money on crypto, even though they could potentially count on 1 up year. If that happens, the bears say that the fact is it's going to be followed by 3 lean years after that, long periods of depressed trading volume. So until Larry Fink realizes his idea of the tokenization of all assets, Coinbase is not going to have much to do over the 3 years that follow the next bull cycle, meaning that Coinbase's revenue will remain in question. So right now, I would like you guys to take a minute and let me know whether you think that bull case or that bear case has any validity to it, and what you think is going to be the biggest influencer over Coinbase stock in the next couple years. I'm going to get into the technicals, but let me take a quick station break for the Moomoo investment app. Guys, if you need better trade tools, I want you to check out the offer from the Moomoo investment app that's available in the US, Australia, and Canada right now. Here in the United States, they're giving away up to 15 free stock for opening and funding an account. But even better than that, if you just want to put some money into your Moomoo account and let it sit uninvested, you can get up to an 8.1% interest rate on your money just sitting there, no risk, accumulating more cash. Learn to trade with better trade tools. Click on the link in the top pinned comment and check it all out for yourself. All right, let's talk about what is a realistic price range for this stock. And I'm going to tell you guys where I think the low is and the high is right now. I think we've fallen into a price range between $100 and $150. That's where we're going to bounce around in the near future. Let me give you guys some support. I see the local support at $125, $112, and then beneath that, $99, really around $100. And then above us, I see resistance as $134, $138, and $145. That's the local range that we're in. You could expect the price over the next 30 days to bounce around those prices I just gave you. And here's what the pattern of the stock is, and I'm going to point it out again when I get to the candles section. We just had a very, very strong drop, which means that the market's going to digest the big move up and the big move that we just had down. We've come down to the lower part of the RSI, which I'm also going to talk to you guys about in just a minute. But the point I'm trying to make now regarding the price range is it's going to pause its downward descent, or its rapid downward descent. Basically, it's going to be a series of higher lows and higher highs, largely in a sideways price movement. That's what I'm expecting right now with the price action. Let's kind of examine the RSI. We had a very strong drop, very similar to past moves. Now, here's what I think is exactly going to happen with the RSI, and this is for people that have a little bit of understanding of how the RSI works. You got three ranges. You have the 30% mark, which represents the extreme oversold. You have the middle of the range, which is 50%, and you have the top of the range, which is 70%. And that's if you set those parameters to default. A lot of people go with 20, 80, but for a general conversation, we're going to start there. When the price moves back to the middle, the 50% mark, that typically is the point of time in which analysts are going to be looking for future price direction. What I think is going to happen is it's going to move back up to the 50% mark. It's going to get rejected there, and it's going to continue to go lower for now. I'm not saying that I'm bearish on coin just yet. I'll break those thoughts down here in a minute, but I believe that the near term, we're in an RSI situation where we're going to have a tick up followed by a tick down, and when you're beneath the 50% mark on the RSI, you're in bear territory. So right now we are in bear territory, and I'm basically telling you we're going to make an attempt to get out of it, which means there's going to be some pushing up, but we're going to fail to get out of it and stay in it a little bit longer. Now this leads me to the candles. If we go to the monthly candlesticks, which means that each candle on your screen represents an entire month of the price opening and closing in the course of 30 days in the market. Now you can see that we just followed a big green candle with a giant red candle. Now you see a line on your chart, and what that is the simple moving average of the 5 SMA. Now I like to use that on the higher time frame because it works pretty well for indicating transitions from a bearish to bullish move. Now right now, all we've done is we've come back from our massive push away from the 5 SMA. We just simply came back and touched it and got a little bounce. But over the course of the next 30 days, I think we're going to come back and touch it again. If we do, that touch point is largely going to be around 110 to $100. Now, if you look at the last couple years, you see that largely whenever coin stock has had a major push up, it's typically followed by at least 2 to 3 months of it coming down and digesting that move before going any higher. So you can see that with your own eyes. All right, well, hopefully these technicals I'm giving you guys are not just helpful for investing or considering investment in coin stock, but actually for all of your stocks. There's gems here for going back and taking your favorite stock and looking at these scenarios as I point them out to you. But let's dive a little bit deeper and consider where this price might be going based on some fib retracement, the golden pocket down and the golden pocket up. So if we continue down after this big move, which is typical, and we find a reversal at the golden pocket, top of that would be around $100 to $110. Now that's coinciding with an ascending line of support. And so it's quite interesting to me that the touch of expectation in the golden pocket looks like it would align perfectly to this ascending line of support, and that could be identifying a potential area where people would buy. Why would people buy it? Because all of the technical traders out there are going to see the exact same thing that I'm showing you guys today, and that's where it's going to make more sense to take risk moving forward. And so, do we have any clues about how high this thing could go in the next bull run? Well, out of curiosity, I looked around to see what others were saying, and I saw incredible numbers, which I completely reject. I saw people saying that Coinbase was going to hit $1,000, and that type of hype I think is extremely dangerous. You're only going to get really mathematical or statistically based conservative ideas from me, but they're reasonable and fair. So the high-end golden pocket upward moves for Coinbase in the future would actually be a move up to $200 to $230. Now, could it exceed that? Yes, it could. But if there isn't news driving it higher, and there isn't incredible management of profit margin earning reports that people are just wildly impressed with, and then the CEO gives future forward guidance about additional revenue channels that nobody had considered, unless that happens, it likely would stop at the top of that golden pocket, which would be between $200 and $230. And if this comes down to the price point that I'm saying is possible, somewhere between 90 and 100, and you're able to pick it up there and turn around and possibly sell it between $200 and $230, Man, this is the miracle of Wall Street. Yet again, we have another 2xer potential ahead of us that we can begin to watch out for. If you follow me, I'm going to share those buy points and those sell points with you over the course of time. Coin is a stock that I trade, and you'll also get more details on this in the Discord, so don't neglect clicking on the link that I'm going to leave in the top pinned comment to come join me for more conversation in the Discord. Guys, I appreciate you joining me. Let me know which is the next crypto or crypto stock that you would like me to cover. I'm thinking of possibly doing Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of the other miners, but I'm going to base it on your guys' feedback. So leave me a comment of which one you think is the most essential for me to cover right now. A lot of you guys are going to say it's Tesla, and kinda I agree with you because I secretly want to cover Tesla, but I'm going to continue in this crypto series and this crypto stock series because I think it's going to help a lot of people and there's opportunity to make a ton of money here, and I'm not going to neglect it. So appreciate you guys again. Thanks for joining me. Peace and blessings. See you in the Discord.